Hi, a very good day to all of you. Welcome to Learn with Anil. Hope you are all doing well. Okay, before we begin today's session, let me introduce today's two new words as promised. As requested by one of the viewers, I have included one of the words that he has suggested to me to include in my video, and that word I am going to start with. The first word I would like to introduce in today's vocabulary is berated. Berated. B-E-R-A-T-E-D. Berate is the present form. Berated is the past and past participle form of this verb berate. Berate. To scold someone with intense feeling. The meaning of this word is to scold someone with intense feeling. His father berated him for making hell of a noise. His father berated him for making hell of a noise. And the shopkeeper was berated by the customer for not selling him quality product. The shopkeeper was berated by the customer for not selling him quality product, I said. So it has got some emotional punch in it. So by this you must have understood the meaning of berate. It's a verb and it describes the vehement scolding or intense scolding for being hurt. The next word for today is dismal. Dismal. The meaning of the word dismal is depressing. Depressing, quite depressing. It's an adjective. It's not a verb, it is an adjective. So it describes a noun in a sentence. That means in order to use this word, you require a noun in the sentence. Let us see an example. His father berated his child for his dismal performance in the examinations. His father berated his child for his dismal performance in the examination. I used berated also in this word, in this sentence. That means his father scolded him for his very poor performance in the examination. Okay, so here depressing result in the examinations. In the example given, performance is the noun and dismal is describing the kind of performance, and that is why I call this dismal to be an adjective. It describes a noun. And after today's vocabulary session, let us begin today's session. In the previous 3 classes, we discussed in detail English greeting techniques. You must have remembered. Those of you who have missed my classes or missed my sessions can click on the links below in the description and you can find the techniques for greeting, informally, formally, and also slang greeting expressions we discussed. And today from this session, I wish to start another series of sessions for gap fillers. I use the word gap fillers, but actually technically these gap fillers are called connectors. Connectors in English. Why do we need these gap fillers or connectors? Means we might have come across a situation where our speech or writing seemed irrelevant even after using grammatically perfect English sentences in a speech or a writing. You yourself might have felt after reading the paragraph you have written or the speech you have spoken, the link was missing between the lines. The link was missing between the paragraphs. If it happened with you, don't worry at all, because it happens with most of the people who try to convey their ideas. While trying to convey our ideas, we miss certain things in the middle and we start filling those gaps with the sounds like certain sounds we use in order to fill that gap. But the words that I'm going to introduce from today onwards, you start using them in your speech or you start using them in your writing, you find a miraculous difference in your language. You won't find this sound from now on. You start using these connectors in your sentences. However, it is very easy to learn connectors. Let me give you an example how these connectors can make a lot of difference. Listen to these few lines I'm going to tell you now. Listen to them carefully. The shopkeeper is very rude with the customer. The customer became angry and started berating the shopkeeper. People in the shop tried to console the customer. Customer's emotion was uncontrollable. These are the few lines that I have spoken just now without any connectors in this paragraph. Let me repeat the same lines using some connectors in it. Let us see. The shopkeeper is very rude with the customer. As a result, the customer became angry and started berating the shopkeeper. Although the people in the shop tried to console the customer, the customer's emotion was uncontrollable. Observe the connectors here. As a result and although in the above lines, these connectors are making a lot of sense for the reader, or if you are speaking, it makes a lot of sense to the listener also to understand the situation better, and also makes a lot of sense for making it crystal clear for understanding. That means connectors like these can make our language better both in writing and speaking. That is why I call them, what did I call them? Gap fillers. They are gap fillers. Yes, our language should flow smoothly without any gaps in between. If there are gaps like it looks very boring. So let us fill those gaps with the sort of words I am going to introduce from today. Many times we run short of words during our speech, and most of the times we fill the gap with such sounds like and but if we practice such gap fillers, or technically called connectors, we can make it substantial. So let us start learning these connectors from today, and in this series of sessions I will introduce some at a time. I will explain the meaning and uses of different connectors with example sentences also. However, you will remember them much better if you come up with your own sentences and examples. You can start by using connectors in your notebooks, paragraphs, and in your speech, and you can practice it as much as possible. This practice is very much essential in order to get perfection in using these connectors. It's not that difficult, very easy. Once you understand the use of these connectors, it becomes so easy for us to use them in our day-to-day life. And how to practice this? How to practice these connectors? As we did just now, like write a paragraph without connectors and try adding connectors after writing a paragraph. Then see the difference between those two paragraphs. It is a miraculous difference. It's so magical. These words will make a lot of sense and a logical connection is made. The flow will be better, sound is more logical and easier to understand when using connectors. So let us begin with our first connector for today, and that is because. The first connector I wish to introduce today is because. This connector can be used both in writing and speaking. Why I started with because? Because this is very commonly used English connector. Very commonly used. Let me give you an example so that you understand it better. I am so happy today because my mother appreciated my success. I am so happy today because my mother appreciated my success. Because is telling the reason for my happiness, right? So the same sentence, if we say without the connector, it sounds like this. My mother appreciated my success. I am so happy today. So there is no connector, still it is correct, but we feel there is something missing in that expression, something lacking in that expression, right? So use this because in your sentences and see how it makes a lot of difference in your expression. And the second one I wish to introduce today is due to. Due to, D-U-E-T-O, due to. The phrase due to is used most commonly in writing or formal situations. For example, you are more likely to say due to when sending an email to your boss than when speaking to your friend. When speaking to your friend, if we use due to, it becomes more formal. We don't be much formal with our friends, right? So we use due to in formal situations generally, unlike because. The connector due to is most commonly placed at the beginning of the sentence. If you recollect the previous sentence, because is used in the middle of the sentence, and that can also be used in the beginning, but due to is specifically used in the beginning of sentences. Let me give you an example so that you can understand it better. Due to lack of preparation, he failed in the examinations. Due to lack of preparation, he failed in the examinations. Due to our low budget, we cannot go on a vacation this year. Due to our low budget, we cannot go on a vacation this year. This due to is also explaining us the reason for our not going on a vacation this year, right? So because and due to both are giving the reason, but placement difference and formality and informality difference is there. And the third and very important connector is as a result. As a result, this connector can both be used in speaking as well as in writing. This is also very commonly used connector. Use this phrase when you want to explain what caused something to happen. For example, as a result of his bad behavior, he wasn't allowed to enter the class. As a result of his bad behavior, he wasn't allowed to enter the class. That means teacher became very angry because of his bad behavior. The resultant effect of his bad behavior is not allowing him into the class, right? So we did not sell many products last month. As a result, the profit was very less. And the next connector I wish to introduce today is for instance, for example, for instance, for example. Both of these phrases are used in everyday conversations and in writing also. In fact, they are probably the most popular way to give examples in both formal and casual situations. We must inspire next generation. I'm giving you an example now. We must inspire the next generation. For instance, people like Abdul Kalam inspired a generation. People like Abdul Kalam inspired a generation. Another example, let us see. It is difficult to understand maths. For example, I spent half a day to understand parabola but understood nothing. It is difficult to understand maths. For example, I spent half a day to understand parabola but understood nothing. That means I spent a lot of time and I did not understand. That is the example to say that maths is very difficult. And the last connector for today is actually. Many a times you must have heard this word, people using it. The word actually is used quite often, very quite often by many people. You can also use it in the beginning or middle or even at the end of your sentences. And you can use this connector in casual or formal or conversation, or any sort of situation you can use this actually word. Actually, learning English was one of the best decisions I have ever made. Actually means here, frankly speaking. Frankly speaking, learning English was one of the best decisions I have ever made. And using English connectors isn't new actually. It's more common than you think. Actually, it's more common than you think. See how it is making a difference. Okay guys, practice these 5 connectors today. Try using them in your own sentences and your own paragraphs also. You will see a great difference these connectors can make language. In the next session, I'll discuss some more connectors that can help us beautify our language. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed my video, please like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.